initial reaction when Jon Favreau first approached you about the project?
I first heard from Jon Favreau, someone I've always admired, in a Zoom where he asked me if I'd ever seen the show, The Mandalorian. Of course, I hadn't. He explained a little bit that they were making a movie out of it. The idea that I was being considered for this role in a Star Wars movie was such a surprise. I've been quite content to stay in my Avatar and Alien worlds. Star Wars is a fascinating other universe to me, and one that's very hopeful because it has all these different species living kind of, peaceably together in these towns and having drinks together and what have you. And so I watched The Mandalorian, and it's so captivating, this guy and this little creature. I was completely smitten by it. And the fact that it was already going to be a movie and that I could play this wonderful character named Colonel Ward, I just found the whole thing such an exciting surprise.
Great. Tell us about your character, Colonel Ward.
Colonel Ward was a member of the rebellion. She's the same generation as Princess Leia, and I think they fought together. And Ward is a pilot. She flies an X-Wing, which is very cool that I got to do. And she's the commander of a base way out on the Outer Rim, where there's still Imperial remnants, people running around up to no good, gouging the community and treating people badly. And Colonel Ward's job, in order to protect this fledgling republic, is to bring these guys in so they can't grow in power. And so I need someone to go get them, and that's Mandalorian and Grogu. I've already hired them. But of course, when you meet them, you're having to communicate with a guy who has a helmet on. You can't really look in his eyes. And the little sidekick seems very uninterested in the mission. He's just eating and, so I feel like she really has to, to dig down and find that instinct of hers that says, these guys are going to be able to do this job, and they're the right guys. And luckily, her hunch is correct.
You've been a part of several phenomenally successful film franchises in the past. What was the most exciting thing about joining the Star Wars universe?
The most exciting thing about joining the Star Wars universe was, I think, it is so beloved by men, women, and children all over the world. To travel around promoting this movie in Berlin, Paris, London, you come out and you're surrounded by rows and rows and rows of men, women, and children in armor, in helmets, little Grogus on their shoulders. It's just, I think, loved like no other franchise. It's unique.
Tell us about the first time you met Grogu.
I met Grogu at my costume fitting. I had a costume fitting a couple months before we did. I was in the movie, and I kind of mentioned when I got to the studio, I said, is Grogu working today? Anyway, I sort of hinted to Jon that I would really, especially if I was going to be working with Grogu, I really should meet him. And he brought him in, and I've been so lucky because everything I've had to do with Grogu, there are 5 puppeteers, but they're invisible. In my scene with him, the first scene, we're at the table, they're under the table. And so I never have seen Grogu as anything other than completely alive and completely convincing. I just think it's a miracle of technology, skill, and imagination. And it's a great character. It doesn't surprise me at all that he's becoming beloved all over the world.
Let's save the rest for after dinner.